Bill, welcome to the podcast, fam. How you doing? How you living? Man, I know it's been a minute. We wanted to do this for a while, but it just took us so long to actually get here because, Bill doing his own fucking business, y'all.
Trying, man. Trying the content thing out. Doing good, actually, man. Nothing too crazy, but hey, I'm here to support my guy, dog. From the streets.
Yo, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, wait, tell me like a little bit about like why you started your own business. How's it going? What do you actually do for your business and shit like that?
Well, basically, I've been collecting cards literally all my life. Like, I've been growing up doing the sport card thing, and then, how you like one thing on TikTok, your whole algorithm changed. So, my whole algorithm changed, and then I realized you can, like, basically resell these sports cards. And, I watch sports, you know what I mean? So then I started, like, basically reselling them and, like, recording myself doing it and stuff like that. So I'm still doing a hobby, but basically I'm just recording myself making money off of it while still collecting it at the same time. That's really what
It's
it
cra-
is.
Yeah, it's crazy though because when I found out that you were actually doing it and then that you had an Instagram because from last time I know you didn't have one.
Nah, I had went ghost after recruiting duty. I had deleted my recruiting one, went ghost. Saying usually what I do is just go ghost on the military thing. But I was doing the TikTok one, and everybody that support me on TikTok was like, yo, bro, make an Instagram. So that's when I ended up making an Instagram.
So like tell me a little bit, let's go back into like the military stuff. I know you're going ghost on it and stuff like that, but how many years you been in now?
Little with 13. Last September made 13. So almost like a 13, like 13 and a half, basically. And then what year we met on recruiting duty? That was
2023.
2021. You said 23?
Yeah, 2023 January to be
Yep,
exact.
yep. So then recruiting duty, now I'm back in North Crack and Lackey. I thought that was you were going to end up going, but you were in BA, huh?
Yeah, I'm out there in Quantico doing my thing. It's not too bad out there. I don't really be doing much, but here in a little bit, this staff sergeant board just came and started. So I got to see what's gonna happen in June for myself.
I feel that, bro. I got my first P, man, on gunning. I don't really too much know how to deal with that gunning board, man, because they say this good, that good. And then we have everything that's supposed to be good enough to get gunning. You still don't get gunning. Then as they say, better luck next year. You know what I mean? So I got my
But what
first
was
P at gunning.
but what was they saying? Was it saying because you've been out your MOS too long? What was they really trying to tell you?
I'm gonna be honest, like they can tell. You know how you like ask a question and walk around the question just to not answer the question. That's what I got,
Hmm.
bro. That's what I got, honestly. And then from there, it's just like I'm that guy. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I'm that guy. All right, you got promoted over me. I'm gonna do my research. You know what I'm saying? Because one, I might find something that you did that I didn't do, so I can do better for it next year. You know what I'm saying? Or two, I want to know like, hey, there's no way this dude got promoted over me. And I use that as fuel. You know what I'm saying? Some might call it hating. I use it as fuel. Like, oh, this dude got promoted over me and he's not better than me. I bet. I'm going to stand on that. You know what I mean? That's how I got
Hey,
that.
what they
I seen a couple dudes that got promoted over me on the lab board, and I feel like they deserve to be promoted over me on it. But that's just how I see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what you used to say back in the day, research over me search.
I swear to God, and I still stand on that in every aspect. Research over me search, bro. You don't know what you don't know. So everybody always preaching this, that, and this. I do my research before I go to preaching what I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell everybody, even the young Marines, I be like, hey man, research over me search, bro. I'm telling you, if you don't know it, you can find it. Especially these days, Chat GPT got all the answers. Literally all the
Hmm.
answers.
Man, I definitely use that shit on a day-to-day basis for sure, especially when I'm like a little bit like less informed on what I really want to know, just get something more in depth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I really use it for.
In Staff Academy, I brought it up. Just how like the NFL draft going more towards AI drafting. So I'm sitting there like, why don't we implement that in the Marine Corps, bro? Like it's a lot of bias towards people that don't know us or don't know much about our MOS, telling us like, all right, cool, you're good enough to get promoted to the next rank. When that Master Sergeant or Sergeant Major don't know nothing about 0811 or 0311, but yet they giving us like they looking at our paperwork because they was quickly briefed on what to expect to get promoted the next rank. This is what I'm like putting together from what I've heard. Everybody that participated on the board been saying what they do on the board. So I'm like, instead of that, let's make a program saying, all right, cool, submit your paperwork and your fit reps, and let's see if you qualify to be gunning for your next rank. And if you're qualified to be gunning for the next rank, then we're going to send you like a text message. All right, cool, you're qualified. But now let's see if you're highly qualified out of the other packages. Let's see who's the most qualified to be selected out of those allocations, basically. That's what I said. They make it all AI. No bias. It's straight AI generated. All right, cool. And then out of that, all right, you've been selected. Boom, you got your selection number through a text message or email. That easy. Now we don't need 20, 100, how many people on the board to determine the guy they never met, whether he's good enough. Just make AI. It's too many. It's too many. It's too biased, bro. That's what I say. Because if they're coming out of the Marine Corps, is looking for this particular leadership this year, that particular leadership going to be different from me and going to be different from you through the time we led through the Marine Corps. So it's all bias based. But nah, AI is like, nah, this is what we want, this is what we need, no bias inside of it. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. Just make that jump
Yeah,
straight AI, bro.
and I feel the same way because obviously going through the junior ranks for me was a little bit tougher because of the different kind of analytics they was looking for, right? The different type of people they can talk about like your leadership way, but is it really your leadership or is it the way that you carry yourself that they don't like, right?
Yeah.
Is it the way that you talk to people just because you're from that place and they don't understand how to actually interact with you that way? You get what I'm saying? So it's just like a whole bunch of things, but definitely the analytics of everything. If they came out with like a Mar admin, like, hey, yo, this is what we're looking for, this and that, just kind of like how they do right now, but just a little bit more in depth of like our particular for each MOS. What are we looking for? What do we want? And have that little computer generated go through it. I think that would be a little bit dope.
No, that's bro. I'm like so serious because I'm like everybody be like, SDA carry weight. All right, cool. If SDA carry weight, why this guy's getting selected over me that haven't done an SDA? Like, is my package really getting looked at before this guy? You know what I mean? That's just my honest take. Like, if this guy haven't done an SDA, why is he getting looked at? That's how I see it. If this guy is a staff sergeant that been in the fleet for 12 years, how is he benefiting the Marine Corps? Yeah, you benefiting your MOS, but how you benefiting the Marine Corps if you haven't left your MOS for 12 years? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Because
how I see it.
we're always hearing that look, you need to be more versatile. You need to do more things in the Marine Corps. You need to see
Exactly.
other things in the Marine Corps. But once you actually do it and you actually complete it, now I'm looking for what's the next step for me. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to get promoted. We're all trying to get that next rank. We're all trying to get a little bit more responsibility. Longer we go in this gun club or whatever the case may be. But sometimes it's just like it feels like it's overlooked now.
That's facts. And then one thing about me, like me and you know, bro, recruiting out of Baltimore City wasn't easy. So for me not to get promoted off of this board after the work I put in on recruiting duty made me feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Like I'm not finna don't tell me and then have me to help you like encourage Marine to go on B billets and tell them it'll look better on the field rep or even look better towards promotion when it's not true, especially when there's no consistency of this promotion board. This promotion system literally need like some type of stability. Like it's no stability. Like one day this guy get promoted and guess what? I mean, one year this guy get promoted and he done this. Next year this guy get promoted, he done nothing. Like it's no consistency, especially when I see highly qualified Marines as staff sergeant looking to go to gun or even sergeants looking to go to staff sergeants in each rank. But guess what? They keep getting looked over because there's no consistency at all in this promotion system.
Now, I know, like, since that stuff happened to you and stuff like that, does that, like, give you a different aspect in the Marine Corps? Because everyone talks about, like, yeah, once you finish a SDA, whether that's recruiting duty, drill instructor, or combat instructor, you see this Marine Corps in just a whole big different way. How does that, like, look for you since, it applies to your situation a little bit? Like, I guess what you want to say is, like, your point of view of how you see the Marine Corps now.
No, don't get me wrong. I still see the Marine Corps like the only reason why I see the Marine Corps different because recruiting duty like literally enhance my stress to my tolerance level. You know what I mean? Like our tolerance level from recruiting duty is like peak high right now. Like everybody in the fleet complaining about something that's small, that's big to them, but I'd be like, bro, what are we talking about? It's Friday. We off this weekend. You know what I mean? Like rather than on recruiting duty, we like anticipating on working on Saturday, Sunday. We anticipating on having Christmas Eve and Christmas off and working on the 26th. You know what I mean? Rather than here, I'm like, bro, we finna have a whole leave block. Y'all complaining about what, like, you know what I mean? Like my tolerance level is at all time high. So me, I look at a different Marine Corps way different because of that, especially coming from recruiting duty to now. But at the same time, it's minimum to me work ethic wise because of how I worked on recruiting duty is like all time high to the fleet because they like, dang, bro, your time management skill is insane. And I'm sitting there like, bro, what are we talking about? This is like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I even like jumped off the porch with y'all yet or what I really can do. But at the same time, I feel like for some reason, they verbally acknowledge that, but like nobody else is knowing like they see me. You know what I mean? Like my paperwork is not reflecting what I'm being told, if that makes sense. Because if it was, I would have got promoted gunny. If like that's how I see it. Like I would have got promoted gunny if my paperwork would have reflected what I'm being told, how I'm looking on a day-to-day basis. But once again, I feel like what I've taught, the way he taught me was like, make sure you understand what the officers are running on you in these field reps because to you it may sound good because we don't use the term they use on a day-to-day basis. I know I don't. So to me it sounds good, but guess what? When I give it to another officer, like I did, that was like, oh dang, like nah, he could have said this, that, and this, and it would have sounded way better. But here it sounds like he's trying to tell you, yeah, you good, but maybe you should be better here just to basically give you room for improvement. And I'm sitting there like, nah, I don't need no room for improvement for that because he know I'm that. I'm him on here. But he was like, no, it's more so for his profile. So I feel like a lot of officers also, going off topic a little bit, I feel like a lot of officers write on enlisted to basically improve their profile. And that's just another hidden gem that I heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more like the gas up and no return.
Exactly, bro. Exactly, dog. And I don't know, man. I feel like it's a lot of left and right turns when it just should be a straight road with what you want and what I accomplish. Like, you know, I accomplish everything. So stop trying to tell me I need to improve in the area where you never told me that you want to see me improve in. And it's already there. Like, you trying to just throw improvement in the sentence that doesn't need to be there. And that's just my take on it. And once again, this is me more educated on it now rather than me just signing my field rep and proving my field rep. But I know now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. Now, I mean, it's been a little bit weird transition for me coming back doing infantry things, right? Even though I'm still not really technically doing infantry things where I'm at,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be expected to do it if I get selected. So I guess my thing is like it's been a little weird for me because I don't know exactly where I'm gonna fit in. Has that been like that for you? Like, what was the weirdest thing like has it's felt like for you since you've been back in the fleet?
What you mean by like fit in, like leadership wise?
Just more of like MOS credibility, you know what I'm saying? Like just hopping back into it because it's been so long where it's like everything has changed,
No, it's
and you
fast.
can see it now with how like the Marine Corps is moving with like even like the littoral regiments now, and then even with artillery like now you guys are switching more to HIMARS now and everything like
Yeah.
that. So it's like a culture shock. It's like the first time hitting the fleet again. You don't know what to know. You
Yeah.
don't know what to expect. That's how I'm feeling right now. Is that something that you experienced when you first got back to the fleet?
Most definitely, bro. And what I did remember when I was a chief, a young sergeant, I seen those staff sergeant, those gunnies come back from B billets and basically try to run before they was even crawling again. So they would say crazy and they'll look dumb. And I remember that. Good thing I remember that because I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. So my first 2 to 3 months, my first 2 to 3 field ops, I was more so on the back rope. You know what I'm saying? Like send back, making sure I understand what I didn't, that I need to remember. Also asking questions, you know what I mean? Like I had one of my dudes, Lawnmower, like not Lawnmower, Wilson, not Wilson, shoot, Australia. Good thing I linked over to Australia because he was patient with me. He was like, yo, bro, you remember this, that, and this? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Show me all the TMs and like I was doing more studying than what I normally used to do just to get my knowledge back up. But it took me a few months, few field ops, and once I got my legs back under me, like now it's a wrap. Now, like I personally feel like as an 0811 or even as a gunny 0869, I'm at my peak. You know what I mean? Not saying I'm not
Hmm.
going out my way to make sure I understand more outside of my MOS, like with Artie Max, Fist and the Gun, FDC. Like I'm still trying to expand on that 08 field. I had to crawl for sure for like the first 3 months, and like it all came back and it was all clicking. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with that, and it just more so like it's like once you hit your peak, let alone at 0811, it's like only best thing you can do now is go outside of 0811. It's like learning other jobs to basically better the whole battery rather than just your job. And that's where I'm at now, bro. And then, my ego, bro, it's like if you can't tell me how to do my job, bro, you might as well just ask me how to do your job. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm always trying to move, bro. Like, don't tell me how to do my job. Ask me how to do your job. And that's how I move through the Marine Corps for sure, bro.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why we all like me, you, Daily. We all kind of clicked in the office because we kind of had the
Yeah.
same mentality. Like, look,
Yeah.
if you can't tell us how to do this, then you shouldn't be talking to us. It's
Bro, and
really
that
that simple.
God, bro, and I tell everybody that because everybody I met, obviously, that done recruiting, been like they hated recruiting duty, this recruiting duty, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how to really feel about recruiting duty because our office was lit, bro. Like we was tight, bro. We had each other back. We understood, like, bro, look, dog. The office got to make this amount of numbers, bro. I bet, bro. I'm gonna write my two. D, you write your two. Daily, you write one. Boom. Daily, you hold your next three. In first phase line, you throw your three down. Give me and B room to get right, and then we'll throw two more. So now, Daily, you chilling for the rest of the month. So write your three at the beginning. Me and B throwing one and two. We boom, make mission again, and then guess what? Now we in the office playing dominoes. Like,
It's like
bro.
this. That's a lot of things that a lot of people didn't see behind the scenes, right? Like
Yeah,
the work that we actually put in. But it's funny
man.
because when we would be off, doing our fuck around time, we would have
Yeah.
our poolies there just watching us. Like, what are y'all
Facts.
doing? Why aren't y'all working? And I'm like, well, this is us working. We work all the time.
Yep. Now, bro, our office, I feel like our office was really one in a million, dog. We had that boy Cali in that bit, me, you, then Dontae came in. Our office was different, bro. Our office was really different, dog. And we was clicking, dog. Obviously, we argued and all of that what brothers do. You know what I'm saying? But we'd turn right back around. Man, let's go take a shot, bro. We turn right back around, bro. They go smoke real quick, bro, and then get back to work. And bro, I'm telling you, man, Daily talk about it all the time, bro. When Lewis took over the office, Lewis knew, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about an 8412 that understand how to move the office, bro, that was Lewis, bro. Like Lewis knew, like, I bet y'all boys slacking. Let me talk to you for a second. You know what I'm saying? Lewis knew, oh, y'all boys winning, man. Turn off the computers. Let go. Let go link up.
Yeah,
Let go out to eat real quick.
it was always that
Lewis
like
knew, bro.
it was
He
always
knew
that
for
like
sure.
right kind of like, yo, you need that kick in the ass for a little bit, but no, then it's like you need that. Oh, hey, bro, listen, I got you, bro. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Facts. And then he was always like, all right, look, bro. Man, everybody talking about working 7 days. I know we got one on deck. I know we finna make mission. Man, we not working 7 days. I know it's straight. And and get what? And if they call me, that's on me. And I'm like, bro, I'll rock with that. So get what? When it came down in that month, I'm trying to grind for dude, bro. Bro, you taking a bullet for me? I'm working for you, dog. You know what I'm saying? And
Man, it
that's
was
what I
always
was
like that.
on. But
Even
nah,
like the first time I met you guys, it was the first time you guys were already off. You guys already had made mission.
yeah,
I was coming from the fleet from Quantico just to come and visit y'all, just to see how it was. And then, for me to be there to see how y'all was already moving and working, I was like, okay, this can't be too bad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And then when I got there, it was a challenge for sure.
That
I'm gonna
what I'm
say
saying.
that.
Cause we had to don't get me. Cause we had to work, bro. You know what I'm saying? But goddamn, it was like on some. It was a little childish for the incentive, but for us, it wasn't childish because we wanted our time off. So Lewis really put it like, man, y'all trying to get off or y'all trying to keep working? Man, we trying to get off. He like, get that done right done, then you up out of there. We like, bet.
And I feel like our office at the time was young enough and old enough to understand like the values of like, look, this is the how much work you got to put in. This
Yeah,
is the much work you don't have to put in, right? Just
yeah.
to get the results that you need.
And then, bro, and I stood on 10 when it came down to, don't get me wrong, bro, the curriculum of recruiting, the system, did it work? Probably in the early 2000s, probably did. But at the same time, bro, the early 2000s, there were people that was joining from the 70s. There was 70s babies, early 80s babies. I'm like, bro, this is not how you recruited me as a 90s baby. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? You're not recruiting these kids that's born in 2005, 6, 7. This is curriculum. It's not gonna work, bro. And I stand on that, bro. So guess what? Our office understood that, bro. So guess what our offer was on? Man, we moving how we should move to get these kids to say yes to join the military and understand what the Marines is when you join in bad boy, bro. It wasn't no farm. It wasn't how they wanted it to be, bro. It was real life. Like, what's up with you, bro? What you trying to do, dog? Man, and guess what they hit you with? Out of bottom up, man. I'm trying to boom. I'm really trying to slide up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Make something of myself, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't really feeling that military. Guess what I'm saying? Bro, talk to me why you ain't feeling it, and I can show you what we really talking about because you might not really qualify, but let me show you what we talking about so you can see if you really, you really fucking with it or not. And that's how we were talking to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not approaching these parents in Baltimore City on some, hey, ma'am, how you doing? They're gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about? That's exactly what I'm. But if I would approach anybody,
Hey man,
mom, I probably,
we
bro,
go
I'm
to
not approaching
you
nobody, mom,
we ain't
like
going
that.
to knocking on no doors over there,
No,
cause
I'm not pulling up on nobody in Owens Mills, Parkville, Baltimore. I'm not doing it, bro. Talking about some, hey, excuse me. Nah, none of that. I'm walking up to you. What's up? My name Dontae. How you doing? That's how I'm approaching you. What's
yeah.
up? How you doing?
And then these kids be worse. The first time you're like, "Fuck you want, dummy?" I'm like, "What?"
Exactly. Yeah, stupid. Where you on, stupid? Exactly, bro. Exactly, dog. I just feel like in certain areas, in most areas, would that curriculum work? I believe so. I can't tell you because I wasn't in those areas. I'm speaking from Baltimore City experience. The curriculum would not work in Baltimore City. How do I know? Because I'm a testament. These a testament. Daly's a testament. Callie's a testament. The successful recruiters out of Baltimore City are testaments that the Old Testament does not work. And I stand on that, bro. In today's times, bro.
And there's been a few changes going on through that, that office over there since you've been gone and stuff like that. What's like the biggest advice you'll give to, a new recruiter that's coming in? Let's say they're taking over the Baltimore City AO. What's the biggest thing that you'll tell them that they need to learn first?
I tell them one, bro, you can't be, how can I say it? One, you can't fake it, bro. Like you even got it or you don't. You know what I mean? Like be you, but understand who you approaching. You know what I mean? Like you're not approaching no guy that's graduating for Harvard. That you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you gotta literally understand the room. Like you gotta move different. Like not understand what they taught you back in recruiting school, but understand how to use what they taught you back in recruiting school with like a twist on it. Like a real life and down in the hood ghetto twist on it. You know what I mean? You're not approaching nobody in Baltimore trying to shake hands like bending mans. No, you gotta approach them on some aggressive shit. Like for real. Like and that serious, you is not one of those areas like Texas, Cali, or North Georgia where people gonna walk in or if you approach somebody, they highly qualified. Nah, you got to go find that motherfucker, bro. You got to go find that motherfucker in Baltimore City, bro. Most definitely. So sitting on your ass ain't gonna cut it, bro. You gotta go into schools, you gotta go out area campus and go into the mall. That one thing I say when we spent our first year out there, I know for sure me and Daly, man, we put our face out there. We were shaking every police officer hand, we were shaking the governor hand, we were shaking every head coach hand, every professor hand, every restaurant owner hand, every corner store, every bartender hand. But we were shaking everybody
I
hand
mean, that's
on
kind of what
daily
you gotta
basis.
do, right? Because like
Bro, I'm
at the
telling
end of
you.
the day, if you're not putting yourself out there in your AO, then who's really gonna know you? Who's gonna fuck
That's
with
what
you?
I'm saying. It was that social media, bro. And when it came down to it, bro, I'm telling you, most of the people is like, "Hey, how you doing? This is Stephanie from the bar, man. You remember me? Yeah, I remember you. Hey, I just ran across this student, and him. I heard him and his friend talking about the military. Boom, 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 boom. I gave him your number. Hope that was
That would
cool,
happen so many times, man. That
bro."
so
And I
many
be
people
like,
didn't even know.
"Bet." That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Or even,
Even today, I'm still getting phone calls right now off my personal phone for whatever reason,
bro,
on
it
like
be
on
crazy.
like on Instagram. Like, hey, RGV, I know you're not a recruiter no more, but like, look, can you put me on? Like, I need to know, or I got this kid that whoop de woo, da da da. I'm like, yeah, I got the right people for you. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
So it's
man.
like you got to build that network while you're there.
Facts, bro. And another secret, bro, what I be telling folks is like, say, for instance, you walking around in your uniform, you know what I mean? And you see this older man or this older woman, they looking at you in your uniform. Guess what? Boom, I'm approaching her. Guess what? Hey, how you doing? You doing all right? And they be like, thank you for your service, blah, 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 blah. Hey, man, I appreciate your support. Maybe your son might be interested. Maybe your nephew might be interested. Here's my number. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Everybody always AC is looking for the young kid. Get with it. Lady might be a mom. This dude here might be a dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna approach you too.
Mhm.
You looking at me? Yeah, I'm gonna approach you too, bro.
Nah, for sure.
What?
Nah, for sure. Now we're
Nah,
running down a little bit on time right now, but I think one of the last questions I really want to ask you is if you could do everything all back. Let's talk about like recruiting duty, talking about from the first time you stepped onto the yellow footprints, MOS school, because for everyone that's watching, Bell's artilleryman. What would you give yourself for advice, right? As you're going through all that kind of stuff to where you're at right now, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think what I would do differently, knowing now what type of leader and how I could basically change or even make some type of change in the Marine Corps, I would do one or two things. One, I would have went chief warrant officer or attempted to go officer. And I say this only because I wanted, right now, I still want to have a bigger footprint, at least in my MOS community, let alone the Marine Corps, right? And I feel like the officers have the biggest footprint in today's time with younger Marines. And I feel like I could do better. I can make better decisions where I could be more heard through the officer side rather than the enlisted. And I only say that because is I'm a staff sergeant, yes. Do some people hear me? Yes. But at the same time, I hate being too formal when I'm trying to get a point across. You know what I mean? I'd rather be that officer or that chief warrant officer that can be formal and informal. Like, I'm trying to get my point across. I need everybody to be there. You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I say that right now as a staff sergeant. Some people might hear me. Some might be like, whoa, staff sergeant, what? I'm an officer. You know what I mean? Like, may come a little too different. But you might can say the same thing and what happened vice versa. But in today's time, what I've seen coming back to the fleet, the officer definitely have a better footprint in the Marine Corps. It's different from when I came in because enlisted definitely had the biggest footprint. But now I see officers are basically doing more managing and leading and more involved than what they used to be from when I first came into the fleet. So now I will probably try to, cause I wanted to be a chief warrant officer back in the Marine back then, but I never took that step. But now I think I would have, just to have a better footprint to basically, stir the Marine Corps in directions that I think would be better fit for Marines. You know what I mean? And you can only say I can say it because we had females join the comeback MOSs. We had a lot of people join the comeback MOSs, and where are they now? Did they leave because the Marine Corps changed? Did they leave because of the leadership? Or did they leave just because they couldn't do it? You know what I mean? It's just questions that being on recruiting duty, we can't answer because we didn't see it. But when we was not on recruiting duty, we seen them there and they were definitely performing from what I've seen. But now you just see a lot of change and a lot of people left that you would have expected to stay. And it's a lot of finger pointing, you know what I mean? And that's how I see it, bro. That's how I see it. But before we get
No.
out, man, you got to answer the same questions. Younger V, what would you do different?
I think with me, what I'll do different, right? Just knowing everything that I know, I would pay more attention to the little details, right? And what I mean by that is like, and my seniors will talk, yeah, I would nod off and go to sleep. I'm tired, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Working hard days, hard
yeah,
nights, stuff like that. But I wish I would have listened to the details because it probably would have made me a little bit sharper on my MOS.
yeah,
Not saying that I'm not that sharp right now, but at the same time, I just feel like whatever edge that you can give yourself to be more competitive, and my MOS specifically, you got to take advantage of it.
yeah,
Just because there's so many people. And look at me now, right? It took me so long to even get to this point where I'm at on a promotion board for staff sergeant. I've been in for 10 years,
yeah,
right? And I'm not even a staff sergeant yet.
yeah,
So for me, I feel like if I would have had those little details, I probably definitely would have been up there at a higher rank. I would have been up there not being, what's the word? I guess lack of maturity that I had back then, right? Because I was
yeah,
still a young kid. When you guys met me, I was 24 years old. I'm almost 28 now. So
yeah,
it's like I've seen my growth from 24 years old to right now. If I would have
yeah.
just paid attention to those things, I think I would have been all right. I wouldn't
But we
change
all seen it.
I wouldn't change my MOS at all for sure. Because
Yeah,
even though
same.
I always tell the kids don't do it because
Yeah,
if you're not ready for this type of lifestyle, then I don't think that,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's gonna be something for you. It's something that you have to be mentally
Home.
aware of that you know it's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying?
And physically. And physically.
Yeah, man. So when I feel like the biggest advice for me is, man, still be you, because even
Facts.
with everything, right? The Marine Corps can change a lot of people, and I don't like to say that the Marine Corps changes people. I feel like it definitely gives them a better like aspect of life for sure.
Yeah.
But for me, when I even read my poolee card as a poolee, I've been the same person I was even
Yeah.
back then.
That's real
So
though. That's
that
real.
never change yourself for anybody, because at the end of the day, you're gonna take this uniform off, right? And it's gonna be just you. It's gonna be just Nick. It's gonna be just Dontae, right?
Yeah.
You gotta look out for yourself sometimes, but at the same time, the Marine Corps builds this family, and it's kind of hard to like say goodbye sometimes, you know?
Nah, that's facts, bro. The brotherhood of this shit is different, bro. I'm telling, that's why I tell folks like it hard to say recruiting duty suck with the office I had, bro. I swear, bro. I swear, bro. The only reason why I knew I wasn't gonna be a 12 because I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be with these dudes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll become a 12, I'm off somewhere else with people that I know I won't fuck with. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, I only thinking about being a 12 because I'm like, bro, this shit lit with my boys, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We just had every single personality that you can think of in that office, which was
Bruh,
funny.
I'm talking about it was nuts with Jonas. That's what next show daily. Next
Next
show
show
get
daily.
daily on the mic, man.
Yeah, I already told him. We've already been talking about it. I think he told me give him like a week.
Yeah,
I already filmed another episode, which is already out now. If everyone wants to go watch, I just basically did like a little timeline.
come on now.
If y'all
I
want to go
seen it
watch
posted
that
on
real quick,
Instagram.
and y'all can go watch it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Go ahead and subscribe. In the comments, I'm gonna drop down your socials, so that way they can give you a little shout out, follow, and all that too.
Yup. Dontae 251 every platform. Make sure y'all hit that stride. Yeah.